Hello! A couple of years ago I made a video explaining different ways you can make push-ups easier or harder depending what you need for your training. So today we're here in Can Can Park, Barcelona to do the same thing for pull-ups. So in the basic pull-up motion you start with your shoulders relaxed, your palms facing away from you, and you pull up without any swinging until your head is clearly over the bar. There's two parts to a pull-up motion. The first where the shoulders engage, and the second where your arms pull you above the bar. If you can't yet do a pull-up, you might find that you can already do either the first half or the second half, in which case you'll just need some exercises to help you train the half that you can't yet do. One variation that's about equivalent difficulty is the chin-up, where your palms are facing towards you. This targets the bicep muscle more, the pull-up does more of the brachialis. And in my opinion it's less useful because it doesn't have as much carryover for other exercises like climbing. If you find a pair of parallel bars, you can do neutral grip pull-ups with the palms facing each other. These are a bit easier because all the muscles in the upper arm can work together to help you do the motion. If you don't yet have the strength to do a pull-up, then you can do a pull-up negative, where you start at the top of the motion and lower yourself down as slowly as you can. Just be careful when you get to around this point here, because if your shoulders aren't strong enough to catch you when you drop down, then there is a risk of injuring your shoulder. One of the best exercises if you're progressing towards a pull-up is the inverted row. For this you're going to need a bar which is a bit higher than the length of your arm. And you do the same motion as for a pull-up. Taking care to keep your body straight at all times. An easier version of this is if you bend at the knees so your body is shorter. Inverted rows are also useful if you're working up towards a one-handed pull-up, because even if you can't do a one-handed pull-up, you may be able to do a one-handed inverted row. If you have gymnastics rings, there are even more possibilities, like archer ring rows. If you can already do pull-ups comfortably, I recommend doing them for a greater range of motion, trying to get the bar to hit you on the chest each rep. And if you can already do high pull-ups, then you could try to add in a clap, or at least take your hands off the bar at the top of each motion. Taking your hands off the bar without the clap is safer for training, but maybe less interesting. You can make pull-ups harder by adding some extra weights. An easy way of doing that in practice is to just get some bottles of water and put them in a rucksack. The downside to this is that when you're wearing the rucksack, then the weight's all behind you, so the motion's a bit different to a regular pull-up. If you want to buy a weight belt, that puts the weight around your stomach, and then it's a lot more like doing a pull-up but with the extra weight. If instead you need to remove some weight rather than add the weight, then the equivalent is to get a band. It's like a giant elastic band. You can hook it on the pull-up bar and put your feet on these in it, and the tension in the band has a similar effect to weighing less. Another common strategy people have for making pull-ups easier is to do it with a kip. The problem with this is that as you get better at doing kipping pull-ups, the thing that's getting better is probably your technique in kipping, not your strength in pull-ups. If you stick your legs out in front like an L-sit or a tuck sit, then when you're hanging, it makes your back go more diagonal, which makes it surprisingly more difficult. One way to make it a bit harder is to keep your arms further apart and that means that the lateral muscles have to do a bit more work. A harder variation of wide grip pull-ups is, rather than pulling up to the middle, you pull up to one side, so that arm has to do more than half of the work. One thing that sounds easy but actually makes pull-ups harder is to do the whole motion very slowly. It's harder because you can't use strength in one part of the range of motion to throw your body through the next part. All of the muscle fibres have to do their own bit of work. For an intermediate step between a two-handed pull-up and a one-handed pull-up, then you can do a 1.5-handed pull-up by holding one arm in the other hand. Gymnastics rings are great in general, and for pull-ups they change the motion in two important ways. The first one is, because they rotate, you can start off in a pull-up position and go through the motion in a neutral grip and finish in a chin-up position, which is the easiest way of getting through the motion, so that can make it a bit easier. It also makes it a bit harder in a different way, because when your lats pull on the rings move, so the lats are less effective than they would be for a normal bar pull-up. Of course, if you're doing pull-ups on rings, then you should be trying them in false grip as well, which is where your wrist is the highest part of your hand when you're gripping onto the rings. You can do a similar thing on a bar to help train the forearm muscles, but it's just not as comfortable as doing it on the rings. If you find a pull-up bar that's a bit wider than normal, then it's harder work for your grip. The forearms get trained more, and the other muscles have to do more work to support the forearms, making the entire motion a little bit harder. If you've got a good grip, you can try using just 2 fingers on each hand. Doing pull-ups on any kind of rope makes it a lot harder, because your forearms are working hard for the grip, and the other muscles have to work even harder to support the grip. Another more difficult variation is to have your hand starting at different heights. So thanks for watching. I hope some of the stuff here is useful for you. If you want to see similar stuff for push-ups, then please check out my channel where I've got a similar video but for push-ups. Thank you.